Get on there. There we go. All right. A very simple task indeed. Are older vehicles better than new vehicles? And by old, I mean, up to about like 2005, 2006. A lot of people think so, and for various reasons. And the one reason we're going to be touching on today has to do with the simplicity of those vehicles, of the engines. These older vehicles are way less computerized, and so therefore they are, easier to work on. The parts are usually plentiful and cheap. I thought on this 1995 GMC Suburban that I'm driving right now, why don't we do a tune-up on this thing? I can show you exactly what I'm doing to accomplish that and the parts needed. And my vehicles not only are used, but are very old. So this one, for example, is from 1995. And so therefore it uses things like a cap and rotor, spark plug wires, and spark plugs. All vehicles that run on gasoline use spark plugs, but not all vehicles have spark plug wires or a cap and rotor or even a distributor, which my truck has. Today I'm going to be doing a tune-up, and it's going to involve all those things. The only thing is, in my last video, I already replaced the spark plugs. Here in the next few days, I'll be doing a full tune-up on this truck, but for now, I'm going to take these old spark plugs and replace them with these nice, fresh, new ones. Here you can see the old and new plugs side by side, and I do have to gap these plugs. The manufacturer recommends 0.035, and these come out of the box at 0.040. So I just took my gapper here and gapped it, and we are just about 0.035. That was when I was doing the intake manifold gaskets for the second time. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll go ahead and link it in the cards above. So let's go see what exactly a tune-up involves. And here's an overview of the parts I'm going to be changing out today. On the far right, you can see those are spark plug wires. And right in the center of the screen is the cap. Over to the bottom left, you can see the spark plugs. These are the old ones. And in that top left quadrant, you can see the rotor. Fairly simple stuff, but these parts right here can have a major impact on just how well my vehicle runs and idles. And because of that, it also affects fuel mileage. I can't tell you the amount of times I've taken this air cleaner box off of here. So I think this time, instead of putting you guys through that again, I'm just gonna snap my fingers and have it be done. Well, all right, there we go. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove this cap, and that is so I can replace the rotor inside. I love that sound. All right, cap is coming off, and there you can see the old rotor. That's been on there for years at this point, so it's definitely time for a change. And here's that new rotor. This is the top. And if we take a look at the bottom here, you can see inside here, it just gets pressed in, and there is a keyway in there, so you can only put it on one way. And I'll go ahead and lift up on this old rotor and see just how hard it is to remove. Oh, not hard at all. Here we go. And here we have the old versus the new. You can see this old rotor showing some signs of wear, but the truck still ran pretty darn good. But these parts are so cheap and so easy to replace, it makes no sense to leave these old ones in. In my book, replacing this stuff every few years is totally worth it. And right there is the top of that distributor shaft, and that's where the rotor is getting pressed on. You can see the notch there for the key in that rotor that I'll be pressing on. Get on there. There we go. All right. A very simple task indeed. There's what that new rotor looks like fully installed and pressed on. Onto the cap. Now I want you to take a very close look at what these brand new posts look like from the inside. You can see just how clean and non-corroded they are. Coming over to the inside of my old one, and I have already cleaned these posts off the last time I had this cap off, you can see there is a lot of corrosion on those posts. It's not horrible, but it's there. And there's even some wear on that center post right there. Well, before I removed the old spark plug wires off of the old cap, back when I was doing the intake manifold job, I went ahead and labeled all of the spark plug wires as well as the posts here on this cap. So what I'm going to do is copy the numbers over in relation to these screws and write the spark plug numbers on the new cap. So on this old cap here, the first one to the left of this screw is spark plug number 1. So I'll just go ahead and write a 1 there, and so on. And so on this new one here, I have 1843. And this one will be 6. And now what I can do, being that I also labeled each one of these spark plug wires, is just go ahead and pop these spark plug wires off and transfer them over to the new cap. I'll go ahead and snug down this cap, just snug enough to where it's not going to come off. That's about it. And next up are these brand new spark plug wires, and we're just simply going to match them up according to length. For example, this center wire is pretty short, so I know that I've got the right one. They do give this packet of silicone dielectric compound, and I'm going to go ahead and put just a touch inside each one of these boots. And starting with the centermost wire, I'll go ahead and install it. And now the process after that is relatively the same. I'll go ahead and pull this spark plug wire off of spark plug number 1. All right, I have spark plug wire number 1 here. It's a pretty long one because it goes to the front plug of the engine. So I'll go ahead and search through this pile looking for one that might match up, and it's definitely not either of these two. Those are about a medium length there. We might have a winner here. And that is the exact length. So this one will be working for spark plug wire number 1. There's the click. All right, at this point, I have all of the new spark plug wires installed, and this means that I'm done. Like I said earlier, I've already done the spark plugs, and today we just did the spark plug wires, the cap, and rotor. And that is your basic tune-up on a vehicle from 1995. Now I'll put the air filter box back on and we can start it up and see how she runs. There comes a point with any repair called the moment of truth. This moment, when we start the vehicle up, decides whether or not we did everything correctly or everything wrong. So here we go, let's give this thing a start. All right. Well, she seems to be purring like a kitten, which is exactly what I wanted and what I hoped for. The real test is going to be when I take this thing out for a drive. So what'd you think? I know a lot of you already know how to do a tune-up like that. Some of you may have never seen some of this stuff. Who knows? Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought about the tune-up and about whether or not you think that an older vehicle and the simplistic nature of these things is better than a newer vehicle, or vice versa. Do you think that a newer vehicle with all of its computers and everything are easier to diagnose because you can just hook it up to a scanner and know exactly what is wrong, what sensors are failing and things like that? Let me know which side you're leaning on, or if you just kind of are in the middle. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you did, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really helps this video and this channel. And if you've watched this far and you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I'm Jimmy with One Road, and I will see you in the next one.